Hey everybody, welcome to our weekly video and happy last day of Hanukkah. This is known as Zos Hanukkah. This, the day of Hanukkah, because in the Torah reading that we read on the 8th day of Hanukkah, we have the word Zot Chanukat HaMizbeach. This is about the sanctification of the altar. So it became known as Zos Hanukkah. It's the end of Hanukkah, which means that if you have not lit the candles, you can still do it today. Till the afternoon, till before Shabbos, you can light those 8 candles. Do not light 9 candles, please. So I want to also just say thank you to everyone that contributed to our campaign. We did not reach the goal that we hoped for. In fact, I guess somewhat for a good and a bad reason. Many people told us that they had directed a lot of their charitable giving to causes in Israel, which we value and we appreciate that people are focusing their direction there. It's a bad thing because it's all the result of such a tragic day of October 7th. But we're moving ahead. The campaign is going to stay open till the end of the year, and we hope that you will have a chance to contribute if you have not yet done so. This week's Torah portion has the continuation of the theme of dreams. Dreams always fascinate everyone. They fascinate me. Everybody is fascinated by dreams. It's interesting. Many of our dreams are weird. We wake up in the morning and we're like, that was weird. And we realize that the likelihood of the dream happening is not very high. For example, last week we had Yosef's dream where they're all in the field and they're gathering bundles of grain, and the other bundles bow down to his. Now, bundles don't bow down. So, of course, it's interpreted to mean that they will become subordinate to him. And indeed, in this week's Torah portion, when they come down to Egypt looking for food, for grain, they bow down to Joseph. And he sees the dream coming to fruition. At the end of last week's parsha, we've got the dreams of the butler and the baker. And Joseph correctly interprets them that the butler is restored to his position and the baker, unfortunately, is executed. And then we open up with Pharaoh's dreams. Pharaoh's dreams are 7 healthy cows by the river that are then consumed by 7 unhealthy cows, but you can't even notice that there were ever 7 healthy cows that were consumed by the unhealthy cows. And then 7 plump grains of stalks of grain that are then swallowed up by 7 unhealthy stalks of grain, which of course can never happen. Cows don't eat cows, grain don't eat grain. And so Yosef interprets them correctly, that there'll be 7 good years that will then be followed by 7 years of drought and famine, and to the point that no one will even remember the 7 good years. That's how bad the 7 bad years will be. What's this thing about dreams? So I'm going to touch on 2 things. First of all, I want to talk practically. If Yosef is able to interpret the dreams of the Pharaoh, can someone interpret my dreams? I'm going to tell you, contrary to what some people think, I think that it's very risky to try to interpret dreams. The Talmud tells us, there's a whole section on dreams, a couple pages. It says that you only dream about the things you think about during the day. If you're worried about something, you're going to dream about it at night, to something or some relationship with what you're worrying about. Maybe if you had a happy occasion during the day, you've been really focused on such a wonderful thing, maybe you'll have that dream at nighttime. Generally, our dreams are just an overflow from the thoughts that we have during the day. The other thing is, though, the idea that God is sending messages in my dreams doesn't really add up so much. I'm not sure that the average person is the conduit for divine messages. We're not Yosef. So I think we run a risk running around interpreting our dreams. But there are times we have bad dreams, and it's very distressing. And so the Rebbe would often tell people, first of all, try to think about other things. Maybe study some Torah so you can mull over in your mind those ideas instead of worrying about the dreams. In Judaism, we have the idea of fasting. If we have a really, really hurtful dream, then we should fast. And in fact, if you wake up on Shabbos morning and you've had a bad dream that you feel really disturbing, you're allowed to fast on Shabbos. However, if you fast on Shabbos, you have now taken away from the pleasure of Shabbos, and you have to go and fast a second time to atone for the fact that you fasted on Shabbos. How's that for some rabbinic law over there? Another thing we have, which I remember when I was in the yeshiva, one of the teachers came in and he gathered a few students and says, I had a bad dream. I want you to recite this passage. It's in some of the prayer books called Hatavat Chalom, which means to turn a dream into good. And you don't tell people your dream, but you say, I had a bad dream, and they turn around and say, the good dream. It should be a good dream. It should be a good dream. But I would say the main thing is try not to think about it. Try to focus your mind elsewhere. Maybe read some Torah before sleep. So that's one thing. But I want to share an idea about dreams that Chassidus explains that exile, which we are in exile right now. We don't have the temple. You look at the terrible things going on in the world. It's in a state of exile. Golus. Golus is like a dream. Why is it like a dream? It's kind of like a nightmare. A dream means two things that come together that can't really stay together. In a dream, you often see something when you wake up and you say that's impossible to happen. It's simply not a possibility in real life. So to live a dream-like reality means that I'm in a state of conflict. In Golus, we can be serving God and at the same time doing things that are bad and negative and inappropriate. That's unfortunately the state of Golus, the state of exile. And when Mashiach will come, then we won't be in this state conflicted. We won't be in this state of dream, like dreamers, where we've got one thing and another thing and they're constantly at odds with each other. And our prayer is not to be in a dreamlike state. Our prayer is to be awake and alert and vibrant and alive and living a life that is congruent with the divine mission, with our divine purpose, not one where we're in this constant state of opposites and conflict. Here's the flip side. The flip side is that in this Golus state, that even though we've got all our negativity and our desires and all those things that pull us down, we don't have to be perfect to serve God. We can still serve Hashem. We can still do mitzvahs. The Golus state affords us the ability to serve Hashem despite our flaws and despite our problems. And in a sense, it's this state that leads us to the state of redemption, to the state of world peace, the state of Mashiach. So that's the flip side of the Golus, of the dreaming mentality, is that we're able to be the good people we can be in spite of the fact that we have all our challenges and difficulties. So there's a little thought about dreams, and I hope this has been valuable to you. I'd love to hear your comments if you've made it this far in the video. And with that, I'll wish you a good Shabbos.